Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's the flyest vlogger on the planet. My name is Showtime Lazar. Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's having a great, positive, productive day as always. You know I got hip hop news, cultural updates, and everything like that for you guys today. But before we do any and all that, you know what you got to do. See that subscribe button on your screen right there. I need you to click that, turn that bell icon on so each and every time one of my videos drop, the content that I'm providing to you, you don't miss it. Let's get into it, y'all. Drop my intro. YouTube, what up, though? All right, guys, so let's jump right into it. Let's talk about this Ja Morant situation. So, I know you guys have seen it all down your timeline, but here's just a little brief background. So, Ja Morant was on his IG Live over the weekend, in which he flashed a gun during the IG Live video. He also had some strippers in the background. Not sure if he's at a club or not. And he also was throwing up like gang signs throughout the video and doing, making gun gestures, etc., etc. Now the NBA the Memphis Grizzlies did suspend him for 2 games, but the NBA is saying is he could be out indefinitely, depending on how hard they come down on him for the situation. Here's what I want to say. Not sure if Ja Morant. I'm not sure why he's trying to prove that he's tough to the world. Okay, I don't know why he feels like he has to show guys that he's a tough guy or a thug or a gangster, however you want to put it. I don't understand it. I also don't know if it's him trying to prove that he's a tough guy or just doing what he sees his peers doing. You see a lot of young rappers, they got, the diamonds and the grills and the chains and the holding up wads of cash, and they got the guns and they doing all that in their Instagram videos, etc., etc. So, could it be that he's just doing what he sees the quote-unquote cool guys doing? I don't know. Here's what I want to say too. You worth $200 million, bro. You got to move a little bit different when you worth $200 million. You got a Nike contract. You also have a Powerade contract. Why would you want to throw all that away to prove that you're tough to a bunch of guys you don't know? Doesn't make sense to me. I've been hearing the narrative of, well, maybe Ja Morant is just bored. Maybe the NBA is coming too easy for him, so he needs a challenge. To that, I say this. You got guys like Damian Lillard, Carmelo Anthony, Chris Paul, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, the list goes on and on, who have not won an NBA championship. When you don't win in the NBA, nobody cares about that $200 million contract. Nobody cares about your sneaker deals, endorsements, commercials. You did not win. All that other stuff is pats on the back, kudos to you for getting all that. But the ultimate goal is to win the NBA championship. When you don't do that, those analysts, those peers, they tear you down. And I would wish that on my worst enemy, because the way that they talk about Westbrook and Harden and Melo and Iverson is disrespectful. But they didn't win, and they feel like, these analysts feel like that gives them the ammo to talk about them as basketball players. So all your antics behind the scene, all they're gonna do is say, well, he wanted to be a thug and never won the NBA championship, so wasted talent. You don't want that, bro. That's gonna eat you alive. So, do I think Ja Morant can come back from this? Absolutely. He already apologized. He's accepted his responsibility, or took accountability for his actions. I just think now what you got to go do is, A, change the behavior, because that's the best apology. But also, you got to win now. You got to win. You got to shut these people up, because once you do, they can't say nothing. Okay? Kyrie Irving, all the stuff he's got going on, if he was to win a championship, these analysts can't say nothing. But because he hasn't, this is always going to be lingering over him, this dark cloud. And I feel like, again, yes, it's unfair, but that's what they do. And in order to get rid of all of the names, and it's everywhere, it's on social media, so you can't escape it. You're going to hear it for the rest of your career until you win. That's the way to get rid of all of this. That's the only thing you need to do. And last but not least, I want to say this. You got to get better people around you, bro. You are the bag. So if you don't have people around you that want to protect you, you don't need them. Because if you don't get no money, they ain't getting no money. It's just that simple. All right. Stephen A. Smith said the same thing I said. Maybe you should talk to Allen Iverson, because he was kind of in the same predicament that you were in, trying to separate the streets and this new NBA life. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Let me know what you guys think about the situation in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Ja Morant and how this all played out? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. All right, y'all. It is time for plot twist. All right, so this is the part of the show where I bring in my guest host, Lori Mack. Lori Mack, say what's up to the people.
What's up, peoples?
All right, so plot twist for this week. Chris Rock dropped his special, Selective Outrage, on Netflix. It was a live special. And I thought it was pretty good. But as always, social media, they didn't really think so. Some people did, some people didn't. Lori Mack, what did you think of the special?
I feel like it left people upset. A lot of people upset. I feel like he was funny though. I feel like Chris Rock did his thing. I personally loved his stand-up. You know, I feel like it was a lot of mixed views right after, but I just really felt like it was because of the fact that people were expecting him to talk about Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't really care about nothing else.
So since you brought it up, what did you think about the part of the show where he did talk about Will Smith and Jada? Kind of let him have it.
Man. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, at first, I was one of those people that wasn't too pressed about him talking about it, only because it has been so long. But I can say this: when he first started talking about Will and Jada, when he said that when he smacked him, he was still here in summertime.
Yeah, that was funny.
That took me out. That took me out. But you could tell he's still hurting though. You know what I'm saying? Like, just overall, just looking at it, you could tell that he was still processing it. You know what I'm saying? What happened to him at the Oscars. You could tell that he was embarrassed. You could tell he was still very much hurt, even with the apology.
Yeah, my stance on this hasn't changed. I did make a video about this when it happened last year, which was I'm not mad at Will Smith and I'm not mad at Chris Rock. You can't tell no one how to feel. So personally, I feel like Chris Rock's response that we've all been waiting for, it was appropriate. You know, he said how he felt. And everybody's like, oh, he called him a B. He called Jada Pinkett a B 50,000 times. Well, what did you expect him to say? What did you expect him to do? You know what I mean? Like, that's how he felt.
Yeah, he was still very much emotional. And I mean, with that,
and that's okay.
Yeah, that type of stuff comes with emotions. You know, I'm sure he doesn't mean it like.
Yeah, and also
like she's an actual like.
Yeah. Whatever. And it's comedy, guys. So to a degree, he had to kind of sell the comedy in it, and I feel like him being vulgar, him showing that emotion, kind of made it a little bit more interesting. He may not feel like that off stage, but I feel like in that moment it was probably necessary. And again, Will Smith apologized, but Chris Rock don't have to accept that apology. So even if that is how he feels about them, that's okay too. Because again, Chris Rock was embarrassed on stage in front of millions of people.
Do you agree with everybody saying that he normally or mainly caters to just a white audience?
I disagree with that argument, and here's why. When you're at the bottom, you're gonna relate to people at the bottom. When you get to the top, you're gonna relate to people at the top. It just so happens that a lot of those people at the top are white. Now, he still talks about things that are going on in the black community. He's just not in a poor and disenfranchised neighborhood in order for him to talk about broke stuff anymore. Because then, if he was, people would say, well, you don't live that life, you got a gold toilet. So it's a catch-22 for him. Now, a lot of people was talking about the thing about his daughters.
Oh, man.
I feel like, bro, what was he supposed to talk about? He got rich daughters. Chris Rock been rich since I've been alive.
Okay. And he's a proud father, though. You can't throw that out. Like, any parent would talk highly of their child or want the best for their child. Me having a son, I will always talk highly of him. Just like my mom. She still does it to this day. Random people would come up to me saying, oh, I heard you were this and that. You did this and that. And I didn't even know their name, but they knew everything about me.
Yeah. So I like that he talk about his daughters because that's vulnerability. Like, it shows that, yeah, I'm rich. He even said in the special, I'm rich, but I identify as poor. That lets you know that, hey, I may got this type of money, but I can still relate to certain things you guys are talking about. Right.
They're flashing it. You know what I'm saying? To the people. And then he's proud and of his accomplishments.
Which he should be.
Which he should be. And then, like anybody, if we were put in a position where we can get our kids out of a situation or out the hood, why not do that? You wouldn't want to do that, so you want to stay in the hood when you do reach a certain success? That doesn't make sense. You would want the best. You would want them to go to the best schools. You would want them to be in the best environment.
1000%. Yeah. I just feel like people, it's funny that he named it selective outrage, and throughout the entire, social media has been talking about selective things that they are upset about. Or he shouldn't talk about his daughter. Or he shouldn't have talked about Will and Jada. Can't make everyone happy, and that's the problem with social media. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I agree with you saying that it's subjective. You know what I'm saying? Any comedy. So, everybody won't agree with it. And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the world of comedy.
Exactly.
It wouldn't be where it is today if people all felt one way.
And I'm going to say this, and then, when we say such and such is not funny or this is not funny, we need to start saying this is not funny to me. Because to say it's not funny sounds like you're trying to say it's a fact.
Right.
How is it a fact if Netflix is paying him millions of dollars to be funny? He's funny to somebody.
Right.
He's funny to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Just like Kevin Hart. They said the same
Just
thing
like
with
Kevin
him.
Hart.
They said the same thing with Dave Chappelle.
The list goes on and on. So I feel like when we say that, y'all, we need to start making sure we say, just not for me. Okay.
Because you are entitled to your opinion.
Yeah. So let us know what you guys think about the Chris Rock special. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What were your thoughts? Did you enjoy it? What selective outrage did you have? Let us know all that in the comments below. Alright guys, and the last thing I want to discuss with you guys today before we get up out of here. So Angela Yee made some comments on the Breakfast Club that didn't really sit right with DJ Envy and Lil Mama. Okay, here's what Angela Yee said on the Tamron Hall show. Take a listen.
If somebody can't understand your point of view because they're not coming from where you come from. And so that was hard for me too, to be the only woman there with nobody to be like, check somebody, you shouldn't have said that like that. It's just me. And there were times I did do that behind the scenes because we should be able to do that. That's part of what it is. I'm not always gonna agree. But it's hard when nobody's like, you know what, she's right. Or let's all have a conversation about this. It's just kind of like you say what you say and then.
Okay, now since then, Angela Yee did kind of clarify or clear up those comments. Here's what she said on her show, Way Up with Angela Yee. Take a listen.
I even say, when I leave the show, I don't even want to talk to any guys. That's why I had lip service with all women, because I was like, I can't talk to any guys for like 2 hours. And I feel like I've said that on many interviews, but somehow this
this wasn't
turned into a lot more.
This wasn't the first time I've heard you say it. Were you surprised that it became a
yes.
thing?
I was definitely surprised. But, one thing I did do, and I advise this to anybody when something happens.
All right, so this is all I want to say. Based off of what she said on the Tamron Hall show, as well as her own show, I think Angela Yee wasn't trying to, and she actually said this, she wasn't trying to make it seem as though she was the only woman on the Breakfast Club. From what I gathered, she was trying to make it seem as though it was difficult as the lone woman in the room full of men that have a men's perspective of things, and she's the lone woman trying to give the woman's perspective. The problem with that is all women don't think like Angela Yee, just like all men don't think like Charlamagne and DJ Envy. But when there's 2 and 3 and 4 guys in a room that can agree on certain subjects, and she has to be the opposing, it's kind of difficult when it's like 1 fighting 3. So it's I understand that, you know what I'm saying, because that could be, it's just like, but I feel like anybody could, because if you're the one lone black person and in a room full of white people, it's gonna be hard to explain black stuff to people who have never lived in that world. Same thing if you're a white person trying to explain anything to black people. It's difficult when you're the one lone white person. Y'all get what I'm saying. So I will say this. I think what she should have done was, first of all, I don't think Envy should have he shouldn't have commented under the shade room. The reason I don't think he should have did that is because it made it look like when you comment on the shade room, the words get misconstrued because it looks like you're attacking that person. And comments usually are attacking someone, or not always the best or encouraging. They're either attacking or encouraging. There's really no in between. I don't think he was trying to attack her, but at the same time, the words weren't very encouraging. So in a sense, it just didn't help. It kind of like there was some tension between them. And that's really what I wanted to get to. I think that there is some leftover tension between Angela Yee and the Breakfast Club, just because the Charlamagne situation with Gucci didn't really, that kind of probably left a sour taste in her mouth. Also, her and Envy probably had some behind the scenes spats, which happens amongst friends. You're working with them for 10, 12, 13 years. All y'all trying to be creative at the same time. It's difficult. So I don't think that they hate each other. None of them. I just think that there's still some conversations that haven't been had, which will probably happen on their own time. So don't make too big a deal about this. But I do think it was misconstrued because it played out on social media. Had they had the conversation behind the scenes, it probably would have been okay. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But let us know what you think about this situation in the comments below. That's all we got for you guys today. If you guys enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And until next time, we out of here, y'all. Peace.